this is something that we need to understand when it talks about Scripture. There's actually three heavens. There's three heavens. Now, don't think I'm a heretic or anything. This is what Scripture talks about. The first heaven is the immediate atmosphere that is over us. And I'll show you a picture in a second. The immediate atmosphere. Because don't we, the clouds are good and so on. So throughout the Scripture, it talks about, and he looked into the heavens. He talked about the atmosphere above us. And then the second heaven is the outer space, the sun, moon, stars, and so on and so forth. And I still love the five words in Genesis is simply this: He made the stars also. For the creation of the stars. I went out cabining. Anybody know what cabining is? You go camping, but you stay in a cabin. That's what I just did for the last 3 days. So I went cabining. My son, he loves astronomy. He loves going out and seeing the stars. And he called me out. And he's like, hey, Dad, there is outer space. There is the galaxy. He didn't say far, far away, but there's the galaxy. He's like, look. And I just stood there, and I'm like, I kind of had to, have you ever been camping and you have to blind out the light coming in? You kind of just focus. And when I focus, it's just like, oh, because the stars kept on showing up more and more and more and more and more. And all of those stars, ladies and gentlemen, were created by God. And he created these massive balls of suns, and he made that just to show off his glory. He didn't have to, but he did. And that's what's called the second heaven. And then the third heaven is what we would call heaven as we know. So kind of like this. You got the first heaven, which would be our atmosphere, as Scripture talks about. The second heaven would be the stars. And then in 2 Corinthians, Paul talks about this third heaven. He was taken up to the third heaven, which in Jewish culture meant where God resides. Even though we're about to find out that God resides everywhere, that is where, figuratively speaking, God's throne room is, and literally all at the same time. So